When I look back on my entrepreneurship journey, I think one of the biggest favors I ever did myself was that I never looked at my business as a side hustle. When I started achieving the most success that I ever achieved, I completely erased the word side hustle from my mind and I never put that label on what I was pursuing. Now, for most people who work a 9 to 5 or work a day job, as we're working our 9 to 5, we typically try to find other sources of income and other ways to find income. So, what do we do? Some people might sell digital products on Etsy, some people might dabble into e commerce or YouTube content creation or becoming influencers. And typically, what we call this is, hey, I'm working on my side hustle. Yeah, I have a little business on the side. I have a little side hustle on the side. And the reason why, whenever I would call my business a side hustle for a year or 2 years, I never saw success in it was because I myself, the business owner, I was minimizing it. You see, guys, the way we talk about the things that we do play a big role in the eventual success of those things. So, for example, you're talking at work with some people and you might say something like, yeah, I have my little side hustle, my little side business that I work on the side. And right away, in your mind, you're telling yourself that what you're doing is something small, it's something little, and it's something that is never going to grow. Right when I was able to change this mindset and I started saying, I am an entrepreneur, I began to place that, my business, above my job. First, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a worker here who has a little side hustle on the side. No, no, no. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. When I started creating YouTube content, I wasn't, yeah, like I put out some YouTube videos here and there. Sometimes I have a little YouTube channel. No, right away, I was a YouTuber. Even before I even had 10 views for a video, before I even got close to having 1,000 subscribers. Because the way we place a label on things affects how we view them ourselves and the amount of work that we put into them. So, when I started seeing the most success was after I got my first sale with my e-commerce store. I officially labeled myself as an entrepreneur and e-commerce business owner. Now the focus, or whatever, what took up the most space in my mind was my business, not my job. After I posted my first YouTube video, and I've tried YouTube for many different times, but after posting my first YouTube video and kind of the new start that I had, or as you can say, with YouTube, and I saw myself as a YouTuber, I labeled myself as a YouTuber, I had the most success I ever had. Why? Because now that I was a YouTuber, I had to upload consistently, I had to slowly increase the quality of my content, I had to continue to improve my speaking skills and get better at speaking on camera. Why? Because I'm a YouTuber. So I think we do ourselves a huge disfavor when we kind of look at things that we do and we minimize them. Many people think that their label that they place on them at your job. For example, for me, I was a sales rep. Primarily, other people who are in a similar role to myself, when you ask them, "Oh, what do you do?" the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, I'm a sales rep." They probably won't even mention the business that they're working on the side, or if they do, they'll minimize it, make it seem small. But for me, how I was able to kind of build the life that I have right now, where I no longer even work a 9 to 5, is because about a year and a half ago to a year ago, what I started calling I'm an entrepreneur. So not only in the workspace did this change the way I was talking about myself, but also in my day-to-day life. Now I started to build habits that other successful entrepreneurs have, right? So when you're an entrepreneur, I don't stay up at night. I don't stay up super late. Why? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I don't go out, all day on the weekends, and I take the weekends as a time of focus, recovery, but also getting some work done. Why? Because I'm an entrepreneur. The labels that we place on ourselves have such an immense value, and it's something that is often overlooked. It might seem like a small thing to you today, but I promise you, start treating your business with respect. Start putting labels on yourself. Start respecting yourself enough to put these high level labels on yourself. The other thing, when you look at your business as a side hustle, it's not something concrete or solid. And this is why I hate side hustle culture in general. Because people look at side hustles not as a long-term thing, not as this is going to be a success, this is going to be a multi-million-dollar business, a billion-dollar business. They look at it as a scrappy way to make some extra money, right? So then people will follow this side hustle. A couple of weeks later, they'll switch over to another side hustle, or they'll be doing 2 to 3 to 4 side hustles at once to make some extra money. right? When you start labeling what you do as I have a business, you just focus on that one business. But if you follow the side hustle culture, then every week you're gonna find yourself watching a new YouTube video titled "The New Best Side Hustles for July." Now you add 2 or 3 new side hustles. Now your focus is everywhere. And guess what? In 5, 6, 7 years, you're gonna find that you haven't built anything consistent or substantial. You're just going to be jumping from one side hustle to another. And this right here is the worst thing that you can do for your business success. Now, once I started labeling myself as an e-commerce entrepreneur, everything else was eradicated from my life. I never consumed any content that had to do with any other ways of making money. I stopped doing things, typical side hustles that I was doing like DoorDash and Uber Eats and trying to sell digital products, right? Because the whole side hustle culture is doing a lot of things at once and at the end of the day, you'll find you're doing a bunch of things to just barely make anything substantial. You're making 200 a month from this side hustle, 300 a month from this side hustle, 600 a month from this side hustle, and now your attention is divided across 10 different things. Your time is wasted on 10 different things to just at the end of the month collectively maybe make an extra $2,000. And I see it all the time on platforms like TikTok. Well, you see people talk about these are my 6, 7 different streams of income, and people kind of glorify it. And in the comments, are like, wow, this is so amazing. And you'll see someone who spends 2 hours of their day doing Instacart, 2 hours doing Uber, 3 hours listing up digital products on Etsy. And it's like, if you put all of this time, right, focus on one effort, on one business model, we'll say e-commerce because that's my example. Your mind is going to be focused just on e-commerce. Your time is going to be focused just on e-commerce and the quality that you're going to be able to produce. Maybe in the first month, you're going to make less than your 7 different side hustles that you're doing. But by month number 3, you're going to be making more. By month number 4, you're going to be making 2 to 3 to 4 times what you were making. So the message I want to convey to you in this video is leave behind side hustle culture. Forget about that shit. Right? If you look at your business or what you do as a side hustle, it's never going to be something big. Right? When you switch off from that old mindset, that outdated mindset, and focus on one thing, I challenge you to over the next 6 months to a year, focus on one business model. Right? I'll use e-commerce as an example because that's my example. Focus on just e-commerce for the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. And every single day, you're going to erase the content that you used to watch. When people ask you what you do or who you are, when you present yourself, you're going to say, I am an e-commerce entrepreneur. You're going to become an e-commerce entrepreneur. You're going to create your Shopify website. Now you own a business too. So you have a specific business, and every single day, you're going to put hours of work into that business. Monday through Sunday. There is no Monday to Friday here. This isn't a 9 to 5. This isn't a bullshit side hustle. This is your actual business that you work on every single day. And as the year goes by, you're slowly etching out a beautiful sculpture, right? That's how sculptures are made, right? Every single day, the artist etches out fine details, etches out a little from it. And as time goes on, the sculpture becomes more clear, right? Because in the beginning, it just starts with a block of marble, right? For right now, your e-commerce business is going to be a block of marble. But in 6 to 8 months, the vision is going to become much more clear. You're going to have a much clearer idea of what the sculpture is that you're building. And in 12 months, maybe 14, 18 months, you're going to find that you've been able to completely leave the 9 to 5. Right? Ever since I started calling myself just an entrepreneur, I'm not a sales rep. I don't do this or that. Nothing. I'm just an e-commerce entrepreneur. I expedited the process so much. I feel like things went it was like a whirlwind, to be honest. Ever since I posted that first YouTube video about documenting my TikTok shop journey, I was super consistent on TikTok shop, guys. By the way, when I started like August, September, October. I just skipped a bunch of months. August, September, October, I was waking up every single day at 5 a.m., going to the gym first thing in the morning, working a little bit on my business before I would go to work. So this is what you should do, right? Instead of looking at your business, what you truly care about, what your passion is as a side hustle, you need to start looking at your 9 to 5 as a side hustle. Put that label on it. Right? If you're someone who doesn't want to climb the corporate ladder, why are you giving it so much time and energy and space in your mind? I started to look at my 9 to 5 as a side hustle last year, 2023. End of 2023, my 9 to 5 was a side hustle. I was an e-commerce entrepreneur. That's who I was. That was my identity. So when I was waking up at 5 a.m., it was something normal. It's part of a normal entrepreneur's life. I would go to my side hustle, the 9 to 5, whatever. I wouldn't give it a bunch of my mind power because I was saving my mind power for what I actually do, which is my business. The only reason I was doing the 9 to 5 at this time, the 9 to 5 side hustle, was because I was using it to fund my business. My business at that time wasn't self-sufficient enough. It wasn't obviously making enough when you first start. After 4 to 5 to 6 months, my business then became self-sufficient. So I didn't need to take money out of my normal paycheck to fund my business. So truly, in less than 4 to 5 months, I had a business that stood on its own, right? I didn't need my money from my job. I just used the money from my job for personal use and personal expenses. But I think that was a huge part of it, of building up that identity for myself. And I found myself being able to put in the work a lot easier because I would sit back and when I'd be watching useless YouTube content during the day, and I'd sit there, I'm like, entrepreneurs don't do this. What am I doing? Why am I watching a video about, the top 5 best habits to have, or stupid stuff like that? It starts to clean out your mind. You need to purge your mind first if you want to have success, of limiting beliefs, of downplaying what you're doing, of minimizing yourself. You need to have a super resolute mindset and a ironclad confidence in yourself. Right when you build up that store, you're an entrepreneur and you're going to be a multi-millionaire in 2 to 3 years. Set that goal for yourself. The first year, you want to hit, I don't know, $100,000. Your first 6 figures in 1 year. Okay, cool. Let's accomplish that first. And then as you slowly grow, you're going to set bigger and bigger and bigger goals. And then you're going to leave the side hustle, which is the 9 to 5. That's what we're doing here. We're revolutionizing our mindsets. Right? So from now on, your 9 to 5 is your side hustle. When you go into your 9 to 5, you just do the minimum. You just do the minimum to skate by and to not get fired. Right? Once your business becomes self-sufficient, then it's up to you if you want to quit the job or whatever. But you need to give your business a lot of effort. That's what I realized, because I used to think that I would work the 9 to 5 for another like 3 to 4 years. But I realized, like, if I'm not giving my full focus to my business or to my content, how do I expect it to grow? My competition out there is giving 12 hours a day every single day to their business or to their content and consistently improving it, and they're just obsessed with it. That's the top 5% entrepreneur. That's what they're doing, right? They're not over here doing 3-4 different things. When have you ever seen that? So that's when I realized, like, hey, it's obviously there's risks involved whenever you leave a solid, consistent paycheck. But I realized, what am I waiting for, right? When am I going to make that leap? My business is fully self-sufficient. When am I going to make that leap? And you realize that your focus, mindset, how you look at things is the most important thing, and is what's going to separate you from everyone else. You need to place a very high value on your time, and that all comes back to looking at your business as a solid business that is going to be something very big, and never calling it a side hustle. All right, guys, I hope you got value from this video. I hope it was beneficial to you. In the next few videos, I'm going to talk more about what it was like balancing my time, working a 9 to 5 and growing my business, and how I was able to like move away totally from that life in just around a year. I'm going to talk more about my e-commerce business in a bit more depth, what we're doing, how I'm growing it, how we're consistently seeing growth month on month. And if you want one-on-one coaching when it comes to growing your e-commerce business, growing it on TikTok Shop, because that's a channel that every single e-commerce business needs to be selling on, you'll find my one-on-one coaching link down below. You'll find my one-on-one consultation link down below as well. All right, thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. I'm out.